This is our big topic here. Our opinions on Ron DeSantis. This is a Florida-based
Oh yes.
discussion right here.
Go.
Very. I know a lot of people were looking forward to this. All right, so let's talk about that. So who wants to go first on Ron DeSantis? I think Dawood would like to get started here.
Go ahead, MJ.
Personally, I think Ron DeSantis has done an amazing job so far. I think he's done a great job for COVID relief. I think he handled COVID pretty. He had some mishaps in the beginning, but I think him opening up businesses, opening up to have the first ever UFC event here, he did a bunch of things. For schooling, the amount of money he has given to teachers is more than almost any governor ever. Amount of funding for teacher bonuses, cost per student rose to almost $8,000. He's also environmentally wise secured almost $1 billion for water resources and conservation.
Yep. There's $625 million.
Also, job unemployment, when compared to the rest of the country, this is a big thing. The unemployment rate right now in Florida is 4.8. And that's compared to 6.8 in Texas, 8.8 in New York, and 9% in California. California has a 9% unemployment rate right now, which is insane. And he signed, he ended the prohibition of smokable medical marijuana. So that's another beautiful addition.
All right. Can I bounce off of what Dawood is saying?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I also agree that he is a great governor. And you want to talk about what he's done for education? I've got the facts right here. Secured funding for K through 12 schools with 22.5 billion plus 100 million for mental health programs. Okay. You want to talk about teachers, paying the teachers more. All right. Pay raises for teachers and raising the minimum wage salary for teachers now coming in. And by the way, the pay raises are for veteran teachers. I'm sorry, I didn't state that. It is also, Florida is in the top 5 for teacher pay. Okay, so you want to talk about that. Let's talk about Common Core, which is a terrible system, by the way, which basically bases everybody on testing and all that stuff. He's eliminated that, bringing in Florida Best, BEST. I have no idea what that stands for, but still.
Benchmarks for excellent student thinking.
Thank you. During COVID, he extended the deadlines for SATs, ACTs, and all that stuff, allowing students to get their testing done so that way they can make it to college, make it to where they can apply for college easier, have their test scores ready to go. Okay. Now you want to talk about environment. Like Dawood said, he secured almost $1 billion, exactly 625 million for protection against restoration of water. You want to talk about what he's doing? I think in Tampa, there's like something going on. I feel like it's the water that's killing all the fish. He's literally putting everything that he's got into this. All right. You want to talk about police? He's funded the police. He's actually given bonuses to these police, making sure that we are safe and we are protected. Okay. You want to talk about economic wise? This man was the first governor to bring back the UFC event, which I was at. Great event, by the way.
Were you really?
Literally, yeah, I went there. Literally, no mask restriction. No, I came out. There was not a high COVID percentage or anything like that. I wasn't wearing a mask. The person next to me wasn't wearing a mask. Nobody was wearing a mask. And guess what?
Fight, right?
Guess what? Yes, guess what?
Yeah.
Not a lot of people got COVID. I'm sure there's some of them. And they checked you before you even went. You had to fill out this whole survey. They checked your temperature and everything, okay, before they let you in. So you want to talk about bringing back
Dana
the economy?
White, not Ron
Wait. You want to talk? He's the one that put these restrictions. He's the one that put these restrictions. But anyways, you want to talk about bringing back the economy? Like Dawood said, our unemployment rate during COVID is 4%. All right, that is very good compared to when you look at other states that have closed down. All right, 4.9. You want to talk about? You look at these other states like California that have closed down and have been on lockdown forever, and are now thinking about going back into lockdown. They've lost everything. They have lost everything because of COVID, because of the poor management. You want to talk about New York City? New York specifically, they have lost everything. New Jersey, they have lost everything. All these states are failing, and what you're seeing is you're seeing the mass migration down to Florida. Why is that? Because we have the best damn governor in the country, period.
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead, Solomon.
All right, my main two issues with Ron DeSantis are his recent election laws and his recent education laws. You guys are discussing how much he's been paying teachers. What's that going to do when the things that those teachers are teaching are literally just not the correct history? They're at the moment, they're trying to systematically move the education of the unanimous and systemic racism that has been felt by Muslims, by African Americans, by Native Americans, by Latinos, and by every other ethnicity, the oppression that they have felt and that they are still feeling by our government. That is what is being lost in the critical race theory being banned. In our current election laws that was recently passed by Ron DeSantis, it is currently trying to remove, it's currently trying to add more red tape, so therefore less people are able to vote, which then leads to those less people the people that are not being able to vote are predominantly in majority Black and Latino communities who majority vote Democratic because of their more progressive ideas, which is just leading to a mind in Florida to become more and more conservative and less about the actual listen.
Very true. All right, Alex, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, so Ron DeSantis. Okay, so when we're talking about COVID, we have to talk about obviously the recent spike that's happened in Florida. We are currently we've received the most cases between July 15th and July 21st. We have the most cases received between those periods. 45,000 new cases, number one in the country. And also we received most deaths between that period. It's because Ron DeSantis is anti-mask policy. He's been anti-mask from the start. He's been drink. Yeah, there's been videos of him drinking in Miami without his mask, telling people, "Oh, screw this thing," and we can't ignore Ron DeSantis's fascist policies. Yeah, when people hear fascism, they automatically jump to mass murder, 1984. Fascism can be as simple as rejection of liberalism and a forcible suppression of opposition. And I'm comfortable saying DeSantis meets those descriptions pretty well. First off, it's his anti-riot bill, or Florida's House Bill 1, effectively bans the First Amendment for most people. It grants civil immunity for people who drive through protesters blocking a road. And this is used at officer discretion. So this was used biasedly in Florida during the BLM marches and was told not to be used during the Cuba marches that were blocking roads in Miami and were blocking highways. There was told not to be used. But
there's a difference between the riots
hold on,
for Cuba. No. There's a difference between the protest for Cuba and the protest for BLM. Yes, there is. Yes,
they are not.
Yes, there is.
They are both protests on social issues.
Name one riot that you've seen. Name one riot that you've seen come from
It's opening discussion. It's opening statements. Let me finish.
That has had
multiple. It was for all protesters. All BLM protesters were on limits for that bill. The bill specifically says it grants civil immunity for people who drive through protesters blocking a road, not being violent, just blocking a road. It also created a new crime of aggravated rioting, a very vague description to be able to sentence people to 15 years in prison. This is suppression of political enemies. This is very clear suppression of political enemies. It also denies bail for protesters, and also this bill is going to court already. This bill is already going to court as unconstitutional because it is. It's unconstitutional. It's a fascist bill. It's clear as day. I'll link it in the chat for everyone interested. And
nice. All right.
you can lock. Oh, I'm not done. You can lock up a group of protesters and deny them within their first court appearance. And it can be a big group of people, like a big group of people. you can just lock them up and deny them bail until their first court appearance. That's hundreds of days in this broken criminal justice system. And we got more to go into with his college law and more suppression of speech and DeSantis being a fascist. We'll get into it later.
Alrighty. So nice. Now it is my turn. So when we're talking about Ron DeSantis, I have a lot to say. Okay, let's start slow. So first, he's terrible on the environment. Something that I don't think anyone really brought up. He is absolutely terrible. The positions that he takes on the environment are not preventative measures, but measures that are trying to curb the damage that's going to happen from the environment. So he dropped fighting against fracking, which was something that he promised in his campaign in 2018. Didn't fight on environmental issues in Florida legislature, such as a bill to undermine local government efforts to transition to clean energy. Has put money towards Everglades restoration and protections and environmental resilience along the coast. But basically, he's just preparing for the effects of environmental destruction instead of actually trying to prevent them, because, of course, he's a slave to big businesses. So he doesn't want to touch them or be in their way or yell at daddy. So, yes. So then we can talk about voter disenfranchisement, which is something that Solomon talked about. When he's talking about drop boxes, he put in place laws that make drop boxes essentially useless by keeping them to business hours. The whole point of a drop box is when you're not available during the day, you can just go to the drop box, drop in your mail-in, your ballot. So that he's basically just completely getting rid of the point of that. He also made it so that you have to register for mail-in voting every year, which is, most people don't give a fuck about politics other than election years. So they're not checking to make sure that they're updated on voting and on their voting requirements and all that. Also made it so that you can't give food and water out to people in line to vote. These are just like, it's basically just virtue signaling, because he was trying to say that he can't interfere in lines anymore. The left can't interfere in lines. And it's a bunch of bull hockey, okay, because there are already laws in place against that. And it's just a big virtue signal. So essentially, yes, Ron DeSantis is a fascist. Now, I think that before we get into this, we should make sure that everyone knows what fascism is. So I linked that in the chat. I look at Umberto Eco's 14 points. It's a more holistic view of fascism. And essentially, people have to stop looking at fascism as a government sort of movement, and instead of as a social movement. It's this social type of movement that's being taken place here. So it's this cult of tradition, the rejection of modernism, the cult of action for action's sake. Don't think about it. Just be angry. Just vote for us. Just vote for this. Just do that. Don't look into what critical race theory is. Just be angry about it because they're attacking whites in public schools. Don't look into what's actually being taught there. But it's basically very basic things that you can point out. And if you go down the list, every single one of them, especially a big one, not only if you have a disagreement in politics, not only do we have that disagreement and we can get on with our day, you are an enemy of the state. You are an enemy that is trying to tear down everything that America is, every value that America has ever had, everything that we've ever hold dear. You are trying to tear that down through your opinion. And that's something that Trump and Ron DeSantis is a big part of their movement. So I'm very comfortable saying that Ron DeSantis is in fact a fascist. And it's a big reason why he's second, actually might be first now in Republican, when we're looking at 2024 Republican primary races.
Yeah, CPAC poll.
Yeah. So yeah, let's get into that.
Well, Delwood, is that your name, right? That's your name?
Yeah.
Do you want the honors first, or do you want me to go first?
You can go for
All
it.
right. When you talk about voting, right, and restricting voting, Wesley, you talked about registry for male voter every year. I don't see why that would be a problem. You say that basically not enough people care about politics that much. Well, that's on them, isn't it? Isn't that on them? That's their personal responsibility. If I know that I have to, once I turn 21, have to change my license, and I get in trouble for that, that's no one else's fault but mine. If I want to be able to mail in vote, right, and it requires me to do it every year, then it is my duty as being an adult to do that. Exactly. He's not restricting. He's not saying you can't put in your mail-in vote. He's saying you simply have to register to be a male voter every year, which also makes it more secure.
Oh, they're back.
What makes it
registration process easier by making registration on the same day as voting. So people could register the same day and then vote, and now they're really ready for registrations for the rest of their life.
Right, and I would argue that being an American citizen, there should not be any obstacles. First of all, it's hard for people to get interested enough to vote. There should not be any obstacles at all when it comes to voting. As long as you have a driver's license, a social security number, and we can verify that you are an American citizen, I don't give a crap about anything else. I don't understand why there's even why you have to even register to vote. As soon as you're 18, you should be allowed to go and utilize your God-given right in this country to go and vote. There should not be all these obstacles.
Listen, you are allowed. But my
hold on. Let Solomon finish. Go ahead.
In a few counties in Georgia, there would only be 1 or 2 places where you could actually vote, which is what led to the 4-hour-long lines. And for people who need to work on
but that's Tuesday, in Georgia. We're not talking about Georgia. We're talking about Florida.
It's everywhere in the country.
It's really
a pattern. This is a pattern for all Republicans.
When it is not a national holiday and people do not have to work on the day that they vote, they are not going to vote because they need to make money. It's that simple.
That's on them. That's
right.
But again,
not on them. It's on them. Of course.
Listen.
Let's limit people voting because they have to go to work.
Registering for mail-in voting every year limit somebody being able to vote? That's my question. If you just simply register every year, right, and especially on the year the election is held, you don't have to go to the actual voting site. You don't have to do it. You can mail it in so long as you register every year through the internet.
Right,
Internet. So how does
who in Florida was trying to limit mail-in balloting? Guess what? It's a man called Ron DeSantis who was trying his hardest to make it as hard as possible for people in Florida to mail and vote.
No, dude, he's trying to make sure that there's no what's it called? There's no trickery. There's no imbalances because guess what?
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I have a problem with this. I have a problem with this preface because Trump won Florida. Am I right? Ron DeSantis won his election. Am I right?
Right.
So if things are going your way and things are really how they should be, why are you trying to fix up voting?
Okay, so you want to talk about...
Wait. Let me finish. Let me finish. Stop interjecting. Stop.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
If you want to talk about... Damn it. Now you made me forget what the fuck I was saying.
Voter fraud.
Let me fucking finish.
Go ahead.
I don't remember what it was now. Go ahead.
All right, well, guess what? You were talking about, if it was going our way in Florida, right? Why are we going to do that?
Shit. Okay. I remember. All right. So if the system is fine in Florida and everything's working, why are we trying to adjust the system? Why are you trying to fix something that isn't broken?
Exactly.
Unless there was a big vote of mail-in fraud here in Florida that made it swing toward Trump and DeSantis.
Are you done? Wait,
but if it wasn't a big issue, why are you trying to make it look like it's an issue?
Are you done? Are you done? Right? You're talking about so Solomon said, it's okay. Basically, he brought up Georgia, so I'm assuming it's okay for me to talk about Georgia, right? You want to talk about if it's working? Why are we making a big deal? Didn't Democrats win Georgia? Didn't Joe Biden win Georgia? Didn't Joe Biden win Georgia?
Barely.
Okay, but still. And then they wanted to talk about, voter ID is racist. voter ID is racist.
Yeah,
so, but
it
everything
is.
worked.
He should have won it easily.
Everything worked out.
No.
So,
Trump won solid. Trump won solid in Florida. There was no doubts. We were waiting. I was up waiting until 3 a.m. I saw Georgia turn blue.
Ballots that are
That's a problem. That's a problem. We should have won Georgia as soon as the race started. It should have been vetted. Oh yeah, Georgia's won.
Because
That's why I'm fighting for it.
The people who were being misinformed and who were being told that mail-in ballots were a fraud was Fox News and the Republican media. And the reason that you saw more of a shift and more people who were voting mail-in ballots to be Democrat was because they were the ones staying home and actually following the actual COVID guidelines, and they were being told that it was safer to vote by mail, which is why it was disproportionately Democrat when the vote by mail came in.
That's true. And on top of that, when you're talking about how easy it is to register for mail-in voting, you realize most of the people that use mail-in voting are elderly. So using the internet and access to all this internet and technology stuff isn't as easy to them. So they, most of the time, instead of trying to do all this stuff, they actually go to stations where they actually physically have to go and register to vote. So that's why it's making harder for those type of people.
What's the topic?
We're talking about.
Let's give Oleg some time to. What are your opinions on Ron DeSantis?
I think he's a good governor, to be honest. I mean, I know there's some flaws, but I mean, look, I think that he lets people, for most of the part, do what they want, and I'm kind of libertarian on that. During COVID, I think he did the best. You know, there were implemented norms for a while where people were in quarantine, and that was lifted. And I think that allowed our state to come back quicker from the epidemic, which I thought was a better thing to do than to keep quarantine for that long, as they were doing in California. Other than that, I mean, I don't really follow up with Ron DeSantis that much, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Okay, hold on.
I'm surprised Ron DeSantis isn't national news for like the shit he's done. I mean,
that's true.
It's clear. It's clear he has very fascist tendencies. I mean,
what?
A college bill that is effective in all Florida universities and public colleges, and it makes it so that students and staff are surveyed on their ideology, which as a result leads to budget cuts. It could lead to budget cuts. And the bill also allows it for students to record their teachers and turn those recordings in to a panel that this bill is creating. That is insane.
Okay, so let's ask the question. I don't agree with the first part of that bill, but the second part of the bill, right? I kind of agree with. You know why? Let's all take a census. Am I correct in saying that most colleges are very liberal? Because the college that so wait a minute.
Most educated people are very liberal.
Yeah.
Okay, are you calling me retarded?
That's a big.
I'm just pointing out the statistics.
Statistics, right?
Statistics and facts.
Most people
big educated.
Most college educated people are liberal. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because colleges make people retarded. That's the problem. Like, that's it, man.
But anyways, listen. So if we have a college, which professors do tend to do this, hating on a kid because they're simply conservative, shouldn't they be able to record this and post and send it to the bill so that way the government knows what's going on, that this student is being oppressed and is being silenced by the professor, and everybody's doing that? No,
wrong,
I'm not.
If it's more of an insult, but this is leading to the fact that what if a student, simply by the fact that they don't like the information that they're being told, reports that professor?
Okay,
and the fact that it's held to a government organization.
Hold on, let Solomon. I didn't hear what Solomon said. Let him finish.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Solomon.
What I was saying was that I agree with Gregory that if it's in that insulting manner, yes, but what the bill leaves open is a loophole where you're able to then also record your professor for even saying things that you don't agree with, which then can lead to Republican students feeling that they're more liberal professor, even though they're saying factual information, they can then be reported as well.
Right, and not even that. In situations where a professor is saying something wrong, it should be up to, first of all, yes, 100%. You should have the right to record that and post that anywhere, or bring it to the head of the school, or so on and so forth. But bringing it to public light definitely is what most of the time actually gets people fired. When you bring things to public light, public pressure is what causes these big institutions to actually fire these professors. So instead of bringing it to some weird freaking government administered freaking panel, bring that to public light, and then the public will decide whether this is actually something warranted.
Well, why would we
What do you
bring
mean,
it to the
what?
public light? No, listen, hold on. Wait a minute. Let's not get aggressive here. Wait, hold on. Let me finish what I gotta say real quick. Why would we bring it to the public light and get that person fired for a mistake? Shouldn't they just be judged by a panel and not have this brought to the public light?
Of that.
Not if they're saying crazy ass shit. Because they shouldn't have a job if you're spouting crazy ass shit to these kids.
But it's a mistake. If they get reprimanded and they don't lose their job, that's all that we need. They don't deserve to lose their job. That's like saying I say something stupid and I lose my job because everybody is now like, oh my God, he said that. I made a mistake.
Listen.
About making sure people don't lose their jobs, and now you're saying fire professors.
Yeah, no professor should have to fear for their job, and professors could be taken out of context. I disagree with both of you when you say professors should not be able to be recorded. You shouldn't be able to record your professor and then expose them in the public light, because that makes them fear for their job and able to talk about their ideas and they're obviously hired for the college because they have been accepted in there. They both do the background checks and everything. So being able to record teachers and get them out of context and make them fear for their job, and especially the panel that's going to be held in a right-wing government, like talking about U.S. imperialism in a negative light and the United States in a negative light, could lead them to get fired. And especially getting them out of context, you can say, and you can edit and chop these videos up. Like this is the reason why this isn't a thing in this country, and it's unacceptable. Like being able to record your professors.
But it's already allowed to record your professor. Like that's already something that's actually allowed. Like that's not the issue. The
professors?
Yeah, bro.
They're always telling us we can't.
This isn't public school, dog.
Yeah, you can record. It's like the same way, like you can record like cops and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the panel is. The
panel is the issue, because if you're saying crazy, like the public is usually smart enough to decide when things are openly like fucked up and otherwise. Like even clipping certain things, there are certain things that are crossing an obvious line that when that line is crossed, people know, like just in general. Like if you're saying like explicitly racist shit, like people know that line. Like there are lines that people know. So I feel like leaving that up to the public is a perfect solution. And just
I don't, because at the end of the day, a lot of people have herd mentality, so they will call for the worst thing and everybody will jump on it.
So why shouldn't
there be any judgment at all?
That happens already. That's already you're acting like there's a huge swath of fucking professors being fired because of out of context clips. This is something that's already allowed.
Professors
it's just
are
not
fired
reported
because they're conservative. So majority conservative professors are fired because they get put out, and then everybody's just like, "Oh my God, we should fire this person." That happens.
Show me one single statistic of that.
All right, when I after the video, I will literally. I don't need a statistic.
Look it up.
I can
look
show
it up
you
right
videos
now.
that show it up.
I just want to
No, videos are anecdotal evidence. You're saying a majority of conservative professors. You can't link that to 2 or 3 videos of some random right alt-wing professor being kicked out. Like this has to be studied data that you're presenting here. Like if there's studies on that type of shit. If it was happening at that type of rate, they would definitely study that shit.
Here, dog. this system like hasn't even been implemented yet. What statistics have we gone from this bill? What's happened?
I'm talking about him saying that a lot of random conservative professors are being fired just for being
Wait a minute, guys. Wait a minute. I know this has nothing to do with the topic, but if you guys watch the NBA, Russell Westbrook just went to the Lakers. Period.
No, he didn't.
Keep on going. Yeah,
no, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Bro, Lakers are screwed.
Nah, they're gonna get Buddy Hield too. Okay. We're getting distracted.
Cut it out.
We're almost done. Yo, let's finish this topic. And let's start on CRT. Like, let's get closing
CRT is gonna be
statements on
lit.
this shit.
Why should we
CRT
leave?
is amazing. This is my favorite.
Why, Greg?
Yeah,
why do you support
CRT.
a partisan panel deciding like the fate of college professors?
Honestly, I don't support a partisan panel. I support a bipartisan panel. We should have people. It shouldn't even be political. It should just be people that don't have, you know, the political. Their political affiliation does not matter. That's what I'm saying. We should try to, as much as possible, have these people judged by a bipartisan. Well, that's what we try to achieve all the time. So why not try to achieve it here?
Any group that government's gonna set up is gonna be partisan, especially like watch over college professors. They're doing it to crack down on liberal professors. That's the whole point.
Yeah, because there's left-wing extremism in colleges.
Exactly.
That's what I mean.
No, there is a left extremism.
That's what I mean by DeSantis is a fascist. That's oppression.
No.
That's suppression of your opposition.
Okay. That's exactly what they do in college. They literally make fun of it.
So
that's what they do in college.
You know what? Let's get some input from a real life conservative college student. Darwin, do you feel oppressed in college?
I mean, the thing is, no, obviously not. But I don't think that has anything to do with this, dude.
What college do you go to?
And anyways, I go to college too.
UCF, right? Highly, highly liberal, right? But you'd be surprised, like, I don't feel oppressed or anything, dog.
Nah, you're in Florida. You haven't seen liberal college campuses. Like, you need to go up to. What do you mean?
Dude, it literally looks like.
I mean, Orlando is pretty.
It is
every single literally every single college is liberal. Every college is liberal.
It's extremely liberal, but at least when it comes to like professors so far, I haven't like experienced professors ever since I've been up at UCF that's like made me feel like a certain way or said anything like that political.
Okay,
but
which is good.
I'm also in fucking a lot of like fucking science classes and shit, so there's not really a lot of room to do that, but I don't know.
Yeah, sure. So let's move on to CRT.